Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful edition here of Level Up Mental Health. I'm your host, Swizz. Hopefully, we're enjoying the videos, the streams, whatever it is. Got another good one here for you as we're looking at communication. Before we dive into that, if you're on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe. Got a lot of good content there, more skills as we continue, as well as when us continuing our playthrough of Psychonauts. That's been a blast. Check it out and go from there. So, let's get to our topic here about communication. Very pivotal. I can't talk. Aspect or I don't even know what you can say. Behavior, I guess. I don't even tendency, whatever it is, in our lives. Right, communication is through all avenues of what we experience, our relationships, our work, our friends, family, whoever it is, right? Communication is a vital tool for us to ensure needs are being met, right? We're able to uh, express the needs that we want and be able to hear kind of what other needs are being told for us, right? Or to us, I should say. Um, so that's it's as we kind of explore this topic here. Think about how communication plays a role in your life, right? What do you feel are some issues in regards to communication for yourself or for anyone that you may experience, right? Is there anything that you feel is lacking in regards to communication? And as we go through this video here, we'll look at the different styles and we'll look at kind of strategies to to review if you feel there's difficulties with that, right? So let's dive into our worksheet here, and as we are talking about with communication, let's scroll back up. The first and foremost thing is about just kind of the education of what is communication, right? Again, at the end of the day, communication can be defined as being able to express kind of those wants, needs, ideas to someone in a variety of ways, whether it's through talking, body language, technology, texting, whatever it is, being able to kind of share a message to another individual is how we can really define kind of that communication, right? But what's important to understand with communication, especially in relationships, it can boil down to four kind of basic styles of communication that you may run into throughout your life. The first one is passive communication. Second one is aggressive communication. The third is passive aggressive communication. And the fourth is assertive communication. So we're going to take a sec to explore what each of these communication styles are. And again, as we're going through this, think about if there's one that you feel applies to you, if there's one that applies to your, in your relationships. Is there any time of a particular person that you may experience one communication style compared to the next? And again, kind of think about what are the reasons why you may, let's say, be passive in one relationship, but maybe more assertive in the other, right? What are kind of the factors involved that lead you to have those differences between the two, right? So, passive communication, what is it? It's a style where we develop a pattern of avoiding and expressing opinions or feelings and protecting our rights and identifying and meeting our needs. So as a result, passive individuals do not respond overtly to hurt or anger inducing situations, allowing grievances and annoyances to mount, usually unaware of buildup. But once they've reached their high tolerance, unacceptable behavior are prone to explosive outbursts, which are usually out of proportion to the triggering incident. You see this passive communication style a lot if you feel that you yourself or someone is not being heard, on numerous occasions, right? You may have those opportunities to express here and there. It may get shut down, may get dismissed, and then that results to passive communication. And just like I always give the analogy of if you feel that something hasn't been resolved internally, whether if it's a particular emotion or something you're trying to get across, imagine yourself as kind of like that 2 liter soda bottle that's being shaken. And the more times that happens, where that there isn't that particular, expression or acknowledgement, that bottle continues to get shaken, shaken, shaken until the point where it's going to explode, right? When you open it up. So being able to really just feel like your voice isn't being heard leads to this individual not to really share the opinions or feelings in that sense, right? So particular behaviors that may occur, again, failing to assert themselves, allow others to deliberately, inadvertently infringe on their rights, tend to speak softly or apologetically, exhibit poor eye contact, and slump body posture. The impact that this can have can lead to feelings of anxiousness, depression, resentfulness, feeling confused, and difficulty and maturity for being able to address particular issues. Certain kind of common phrases from a past communicator they'll say is, I don't know what my rights are, I'm weak and unable to take care of myself, unable to stand up for my rights, and people never consider my feelings. So, that's the first style there. Let's look at the next style here, aggressive communication. So aggressive communication is where each individuals express their feelings and opinions and advocate for the needs in a way that violates the rights of others. Thus, aggressive communicators are verbally and physically abusive. So again, being able to share their opinions loud without respect is where this aggressive communication style can come in. And again, if you look at kind of the behavior aspect of this as to where this behavior is coming from, how is it being established, if that's how the individual growing up was seen, whether if it was their father or whoever, showing aggressive communication in their lives, and then in return they're able to get kind of from that witness of that individual using aggressive communication was able to get what their needs met, that's where this particular individual may develop that particular style, right? If they were witnessing someone utilize aggressive communication that led them to kind of get the result that they're looking for, right? Or again, a lot of this could be kind of utilized in terms of, bullying in that sense, right? Trying to kind of, make themselves kind of the peacocking, right? Trying to kind of make themselves better and bigger than, what's really kind of going inside of them. Aggressive communicators will often try to dominate others, humiliation, be impulsive, have low frustration tolerance, not listed well, use you statements, and have an overbearing, intimidated posture. The impact of this can lead to alienating others and being alienated from others, generating fear and hatred, and always blame the others instead of owning their issues, unable to mature. Certain kind of themes and commentary leads to I'm loud and bossy and pushy, can dominate, intimidate you, can violate your rights. I'll get my way no matter what. You're not worth anything. It's all your fault. I react instantly. I'm entitled. You own me. I own you. So, pretty intense, right? Third style here, passive-aggressive communication style, in which individuals appear passive on the surface but are really acting off anger in a subtle, indirect, or behind-scene way. People who develop a pattern of passive-aggressive communication usually feel powerless, stuck, resentful. In other words, they feel incapable of dealing directly with the object of their resentments. So they express their anger subtly by undermining the object, real or imagined, through resentments. Again, this also relates to the passive communication style where they feel that they aren't being heard, but they can't hold themselves back, right? They use sarcasm, they might mutter to themselves, really just kind of utilize facial expressions in a way that is not a direct way to communicate these concerns. It's ways to really just kind of sabotage the particular relationship there. Impact that can have, become alienated, remain stuck in the position of powerless, discharge resentment while real issues are never addressed, so they can't mature. And statements here, weak, resentful, so I sabotage, frustrate, and disrupt. Powerless to deal with you head on, so I must use guerrilla warfare. I will appear cooperative, but I'm not. So, pretty powerful statements there. The last one here is the communication style that we want to achieve, that assertive communication style. So what does it look like? Assertive communication style leads us to state our opinions and feelings firmly, to advocate for their rights and needs without violating the rights of others. And for thus, we value ourselves, our time, our emotional, spiritual, and physical needs, and are strong advocates for themselves while being very respectful for the rights of others. Assertive communicators will state the needs and wants clearly, appropriately, and respectfully, express feelings clearly, appropriately, and respectfully, use I statements, communicate respect for others, listen well without interrupting, feel in control of self, have good eye contact, speak in a calm, clear tone of voice, have relaxed body posture, feel connected to others, feel competent and in control, not allow others to abuse or manipulate them, stand up for their rights, And for this, the impact of this assertive communication style leads to feeling connected to others, of feeling control of their lives, able to mature, address issues and problems as they arise, and create respectful environment for others to grow and mature. Particular statements that can occur with the assertive communicator style: I'm confident in who I am. I realize I have choices in my life, and I consider my options. I speak clearly, honestly, and to the point. I can't control others, but I can control myself. I place a high priority on myself. My rights are respected. I respect the rights of others. Nobody owes me anything unless they've agreed to me. I'm 100% responsible for my own happiness. Last statement here: assertiveness allows us to take care of ourselves and is fundamentally for good mental health and healthy relationships. So that's the ultimate goal: is how do we get to assertive communication, right? Obviously, the first step is to look at your own style, right? What do you often kind of deploy in a particular relationship with someone? And I think it's important, as I said at the beginning of the video, is that what style do you tend to utilize towards others, right? And is there a particular style that you may use more frequently? And think about that as to the reason why that may be the case and what may be preventing you to utilize this assertive communication style, right? So, being able to kind of look at these themes here of what's needed, especially these statements, how are we able to achieve that? And be able to examine your barriers, be able to examine yourself and what's maybe preventing you from utilizing that assertive style. And it's something that you've been able to try to communicate with others, right? What do you feel is making it difficult for them to respect it or understand it, right? When you've asked that question, has there been any particular responses back for what they'll say when you say, "Hey, if I'm trying to use I statements or continue to use you, that can be disrespectful. How can we kind of work on this, right?" So, as long as you're able to kind of look at yourself and be able to think, "Am I communicating this effectively? Am I using assertive communication and not passive aggressive or passive aggressive to get my message across? Is there anything more that can be done on my end, right?" And being able to kind of be, at the end of the day, responsible for your own happiness is the key, right? So that is communication. Hopefully we enjoyed that. There's a lot to definitely just kind of divulge there, but like I said, at the end of the day, reflect on your communication styles, and especially when you use it for the people in your lives. Okay, so that's all I got for you all tonight. Thank you so much. Make sure to like, subscribe. Like I said, we got some good videos going on. You've been here. Thank you. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Bye bye.